Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. So we are back with another Tower of God video, and this time it's Season 2 Episode 1 full spoilers. Now it was really hard to do a non-spoiler episode, I won't lie. Well, let's go with it. So the start of Season 2 was quite a big start. Now, in the non-spoilers, I didn't talk about Mashni, Yuri and Rapalista. There's a reason why I didn't talk about them, because they ruin a lot of the plot points, and I can't just go ahead and talk about Rapalista, Yuri and Mashni until we reach the second, the 24th floor exam with the Yuan family. Until then, there's no use in talking about what happens at that point, because if you talk about it in a non-spoiler, it just seems really pointless. What did you ask her to get? A Zigna flower. What is a Zigna flower? It is a baby grown inside the adult body, and it has a very precious jewel that's worth a lot to everybody else, but it is the key nutrients to sustain a baby's life. Okay, right, now that's a lot of information to have gotten, but we don't get that information and we don't find out the whole story behind it. So by not giving that information, we lose a lot of info. Had Yuri done that task herself, we would have known that she would have met Bam. So it's quite possible that she was being led to a possibility of meeting Thug Slayer candidate. And yeah, that's the basics behind all of this. So we have that option, we had that opportunity, and we never ever got it. So yeah, we'll go on to the next part from here. So in the comics, in the webtoon comics, it opens up with Yuri entering Rapalista's castle, and we see that they salute her as the princess of the 13-month series, because she is the first in millennia to collect 2 of the 13-month series weapons. Now, we know that there is a great achievement for any of the princesses, but we end up just leaving it right there. In the story, they instantly refer to her as the honored princess, Yuri. Now, they don't call her the princess of the 13 months, which is a very special title. It means that she's become really distinct amongst her peers. And the fact that they leave it out means that they leave out quite a bit of her significance and importance at this part of the story. So we're gonna leave it out ourselves, and we're gonna wait for her to show up at the later point when she does. She does show up in Season 2, but I don't think we're gonna get an anime adaptation of her showing up, because she shows up in the middle of the Hell Train, and I expect Hell Train to be a 3rd season all on its own, because Hell Train from start to end is actually capable of being 3rd and 4th season for an anime adaptation, and that's just in the Season 2. I believe that from here all the way till the workshop battle, we're going to get Season 1, and then we're going to get Hell Train from Season that'll be Season 2 will end at the workshop battle's end. We'll get Season 3 from the start of the Hell Train all the way till the end of the Hell Train. I'm not 100% sure, but I know they have to bring in Bam's friends, and they have to show us Rachel's betrayal of Kun. Otherwise, things are just going to be crazy. So let's continue on with what needs to be discussed. Okay, so the next part to all of this craziness, moving forward, we're going to have to discuss the introduction to Wagnan, because Wagnan's introduction was really weird in this one here. I'm not going to talk about the recap of Season 1 where Rachel pushes Bam off and Bam gets picked up by Fug. Not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about the fact that Fug is actually Bam's parents' organization, and he's literally rejoined it, taking on his family's name more than likely, because now he is a Grace. Okay. Mashaya Lazlak is Grace Mashaya Lazlak, because he's taken on the surname Grace, and yeah, that is quite a big story for Fug. So yeah, let's go on with the story now. So we end up kicking off with Wagnan, and yeah, they changed him to Oji Arada. That is because of the Japanese Korean story, and they don't like giving the same names in both languages. So yeah, I'm going to leave it out. So that's what he has. So his name isn't even anywhere close to Wagnanja anymore. His name has changed somewhat. And then we get on to his test, and we see Yuan burn down the entire room, including her teammate Wagner. This was a famous scene. It was referenced throughout all of the references when we first get to watch the story. So we're going to continue on with the next thing to talk about in this whole crazy situation that is going on. So Yuan, being the tsundere that she is, ended up burning everybody. I have to call her tsundere. And that ended up causing a lot of mayhem for the first test. That's how come Wagner failed. And then Wagner ends up getting caught by Lurker. They also showed Wagner interacting with Naya ahead of the meeting in his apartment. So this is kind of an odd situation. It is adding more complexity to what we are going to see as one of the most gruesome deaths that are going to be seen in anime history. So yeah, you better brace yourself. It's going to be gruesome because her death isn't a pleasant one. She's going to keep screaming, he's going to keep screaming and being murdered painfully over and over again with stabs, hoping that he dies with the next hit and the next hit and the next hit. And we get to hear the screaming as all of the members of the future team Sweet and Sour listen to it. Right now, that was one of the worst scenes that I know of for an anime. So yeah, I wonder how they're going to adapt it. So yeah, that's going to come up, and now they've just had a little bit more interaction with them. It would make Naya seem a little bit more of a stalker than she was originally, because all they were doing was helping the tracking company, the company, to track down the regulars when they try to run away, because their stuff stays with the delivery agency. Their what do you call it again? I'm forgetting what the orb is called. Their pocket number is recorded by the company. That's how they transfer points. So we've got this as one of the bases, and from here things are just going to go all over the place. So Lurker interrogates him. He gives him the whole you pass or you pay with your organs spiel, where they're basically going to take out his organs one by one, and they're just going to leave him as a skeleton, right? So he's going to lose his eyes, he's going to lose his organs, his liver, his stomach, everything. Basically they're going to strip him out of everything and just leave a skin and bones behind if he should fail the next time. So he takes it on, being the idiot that he is, and he goes for the test. And when he enters the test, he ends up meeting Balm. Now, Balm's name is Jovial Grace, and I'm not going to actually omit Jovial Grace anymore, because Balm is Balm, but Balm is also Jovial Grace. He's always had two names. It is his nature. We don't know what his original name was, but we'll allow Jovial Grace to be what it most probably was supposed to be, considering that Masaya is a member of FUG, and he is one of the direct friends of V and Alan. He most probably knows the original name of the kid. So yeah, that's going to be a big thing. So we're going to continue from that point, and the next thing to remember is what happens with the next thing to remember is what happens inside the exam room. We see the introduction of Huryang. He enters in, big teddy bear that he is, and he's so fierce that Wagner proposes the whole truce deal to him. Then Teddy Bear falls in love at first. Then they see a small girl, and Wagner can't bring himself to hit her because she's in a school uniform. So he ends up leaving her on the side. Then they see glasses show up, and Huryang's devil piece goes crazy, and he starts showing that he likes her already. And Wagner is like, oh no, he's definitely going to fail this exam. And he knows he can't fail it, because if he fails it, he's literally going to be a skeleton. So yeah, his entire emotional range is all over the place. We know that Goaseng, Glasses, is there to basically die. She came to the exam in hopes of dying. That's how come she didn't even put on shoes. She just walked in her slippers. The small girl is Misang, and she's going to become one of the more powerful members from Team Sweet and Sour. And last but not least, we have Arkraptor enter in. Now, a lot of people will think that he's just a big jackass for the way that he entered. But the whole reason why he wanted to get rid of Misang and Goaseng is actually to protect Misang. Because Misang was clinging to Goaseng, he wanted to get her out of there immediately, because he doesn't want to see a kid die. That's because he is a father going up the tower in order to reunite with his daughter, who is a member of one of the 10 great families. Now, we get a hint of her in the comic that she is a member of FUG, but we don't know anything more about her besides that there. So we're going to get to meet her later on in the story, I suspect, and I'm not sure whether she's going to stay an enemy of Balm or whether she's going to join in with Balm and become a member of his team. Whichever way, it's going to be quite interesting to watch when that finally happens. Okay, moving on from this to the next scene. The next scene with a big amount of discussion is the fight. Now, when Wagner decides to confront Arkraptor and tell him to get lost instead of making the small girl get lost, we see that Arkraptor decides to go straight in for the fight and start fighting with them. He keeps trying to get rid of Huriang because he can see that Huriang is a big threat compared to Wagner, and he thinks that Huriang is more difficult to take out than Balm. But when Balm reveals that he's a wave controller, they realize they're in big trouble. Now, here's something to note. Wave controllers are way more OP than they have shown up in the story so far. A wave controller can debuff those who they're fighting. They can make it harder for them to use Shinsu. They can increase the gravity within a certain room of themselves to make it harder for you to approach. And they can also boost the flow of Shinsu to themselves while decreasing it to you. So your pull versus their pull, plus their ability to control the area around them within the Shinsu. So unlike those who use body reinforcement, a wave controller does area reinforcement, so debuff and buff at the same time. So they're a big time support character. So fighting them when you don't have any support from a lighthouse or multiple positions to fight them is really difficult, because even a spear bearer can have a tough time against them, because they can increase the gravity ridiculously, and all of a sudden the spear which was on target can fall dead at their feet. And that is one of the crazy things within the tower. We've seen Leroro use one of those little tricks in season 1 where you put up the Shinsu wall. That is a wave controller trick, and it's also one of the things that a light bearer can do. They're very similar in roles, but the light bearer only can do limited amount of support. They can put up shields, they can help with teleportation, and they can help with calculations. But a wave controller can use their Shinsu to boost power, to boost traveling distance, to change the density of objects, to change the gravity of the field, to change the terrain advantages, to make things slippery or more rough. They can do quite a bit of stuff with their power. So yeah, that's the one thing you have to understand about why Balm was so difficult to handle. The next thing you should know is why it was so easy for him to take them out. He wasn't even trying. If he had even started to use his power there, they would have all died instantly. The reason why I say that is he was trying to hit them to knock them out instead of kill them, because they were so peaceful that he felt at home again with somebody. That is the reason. It affected him emotionally. We get to see that in the anime scene, although I do not approve of them revealing Balm's identity so early on, because by showing him and his whole craving for being friends with everybody, because he showed Kun, he showed Wagner, and he showed Rachel. Now, it's kind of ironic that he should show those three in exact reference, because they are quite a problematic duo when it comes to everything else that's going to happen in the tower later on. Okay, so moving on to the next part of the whole story and where things end up inside the room. So we end up with the whole fight continuing as it should have. Arkraptor gets outpowered when he fires a shot of concentrated Shinsu against Balm. Balm fires off one brute force attack and he sends him flying. So yeah, that's when Arc Raptor gets knocked out of the main fight. We see that Huryang ends up getting sidestepped by Bam in an instant. Remember, he's using his devil power right through, unlike Bam, who hasn't activated his devil power. And he instantly one-shots Huryang. So Huryang already knows that he has to release a significant amount of devil power just to fight with Bam. And then we see Bam chasing after Wagnan, and he grabs Wagnan by the collar exactly like in the story, and then he tries to pin him down. Wagnan did not fire off a Shinsu bomb and then a cheap gumball bomb. Now the reason why this is a big problem is the Shinsu bomb is supposed to have absolutely no effect. So Wagnan knows that the other two aren't weak when it comes to Shinsu or playing a trick on him, because right now there's so many options. They could be tricking him, they could have been working with him from the very start, 101 different stories. So all of this is still an option in the anime, but in the actual story we know that he drops a Shinsu bomb on him and it doesn't work. Then he keeps dropping Shinsu bombs and they just don't have any effect whatsoever, and he drops a cheap gumball bomb. Now a gum bomb is something which does exist. It's a much weaker version of an explosive device. It's meant to cause flesh wounds, and it's hardly ever a disastrous type of bomb to use, but he uses it and it has a disastrous effect on the super tank as far as he's concerned. This guy who can tank super hard hits, who can hit like a artillery force, and he thinks to himself, what in the world is going on here? And we end up with the episode closing there. Now I know no, sorry, not closing there, sorry, that is in the comic. And then we end up with the holder for the needle exposing itself from his back, that big devil that goes around him, and it helps regenerate him from the damage. And immediately at this point we see everybody is freaking out, and Bam goes in for the kill on Wagnan, and the sound to stop the test goes off, and Bam's fingers are literally inches away from Wagnan's neck. And that is the end of it. That is the end of the first test. We then going to head off to the second test, which we know is where we're going to meet Love. He's one of my favorite characters. I wonder if they're going to still call him Love, or New Love like he's called. But we'll see what happens, and we'll see how his character plays out in the story, because they are making slight differences. We can't expect every character to show up. We know the fake devil in the right arm is going to show up, and he's going to be the whole story for Huryang. So yeah, that's definitely going to show up. Prince has to show up because he's a key character. He plays an important role all the way till the end of season 2, just like Arc Raptor. And last but not least, we're going to have the whole story of the doors with Naya, and Naya has already shown up, so we know she's going to show up in that part. As I said, her death is a key moment. It's one of the moments where Wagnan does one of the most despicable things and one of the bravest things at the exact same time. So I hope that we get to see it, and I hope that we get a positive reenactment of all of that. Although I really hope that they censor it properly, and I hope that they do show the grimacing side of it. Like, they focus away, they look at the ceiling and show splashes of blood or something like that there, with hollowed out sounds of screaming, right, just to make it seem like something horrific is happening, like in any horror. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping that we get instead of anything more gruesome. But I know it's going to be one of the most gruesome murders in all of anime, because they have to make it gruesome. It's meant to be that big. So yeah, I hope that I will catch you all next week, and I will be able to do a lot more spoilers, because as you can see, I have free reign to talk about everything. Oh yeah, there is one other thing that I didn't talk about, and that is Slayer Candidate. The Slayer Candidate is an individual who is slated to kill one of the 10 family heads, or Jahad, and we know that Bam is a candidate for one of those slots, but we do not know which slot he is a candidate for. Who is he meant to go up against? So we'll find that out later on, and I have my own suspicions about who's been helping Fug. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next few seasons of the comic. So hope that you all do enjoy. Catch you all in the next one, and have a good day.